this might contribute to some of the exhaustion and burnout that many people feel in the modern day. On the other hand, the conclusion is essentially a very short version of all the book's most important arguments laid out in around 6 pages. This is certainly no replacement for reading the whole book, but it does give us a general structure to sort the ideas into when we actually do read the main body. I know this all sounds a little bit dry, but I promise it will make the process of reading a very dense book much more enjoyable. And personally, I find it makes it far more likely that I will understand the trickier parts of it. To clarify, you also don't have to do all of this before you start reading the book. I tend to do a little bit of pre-research and then continue doing this alongside actually reading the work, and especially where it comes to more difficult passages. And this leads us nicely onto our next point, the process of reading a difficult book, and how to stay engaged with it. 2. The activity of reading. Active reading is kind of a buzzword in the online book space. People often use it to just mean ensuring you are actively engaged with a book, rather than sitting back and just letting it wash over you. And I certainly agree that active engagement is important when we're reading, and especially when we're reading difficult books. But there often just isn't a lot of detail out there on how to actually do this, which I think is a real shame, because I think that good active reading can make a very difficult book genuinely a lot more fun. First of all, and I know this sounds quite obvious, but don't bother reading a very difficult book when you are tired or anxious or stressed. There's a distinction to be drawn. I don't mean the kind of stress that you might inevitably feel if you're preparing for an exam or revising something important. I mean the kind of mind-scatteringly distracting stress that comes when you're feeling so overwhelmed that you can't even think straight anymore. At this point, it is almost always better to do something to calm yourself down first, and then get back to it. Or, if you're just very tired, then really cut down
the problem with GTA Online. I'm gonna go off here. I actually might go on a 30-minute tangent.
Inflation. The game you all know and love, Grand Theft Auto 5, was released 11 years ago. Rockstar has had some ups and downs over these years, but we know they will continue to deliver.
Yes, 11 years ago, GTA 5 was released, where players had the opportunity
12 years now.
To work hard and be rewarded fairly, but fast forward to 2024 and prices are at an all-time high, with players' money staying the same, and here's how...
Dude, the problem with GTA isn't even that the products cost more, it's that the methods to make money have gone by... I don't know how to describe this. The ways you can make money are too vast. GTA was great when you could just repeat the same mission 14 times to get 140 grand and buy a nice car. GTA was great when they first came out with ways that you could make money. GTA is a pain in the... Because if you want to get a bike, you can't just grind money, right? You can't just grind a method. You have to do missions to be able to buy a warehouse, to grind crates, to be able to buy a vehicle warehouse, to steal cars, to be able to buy a biker facility, to sell drugs, to be able to buy a car that you need a truck to hold it in so you can have a plane that is gold-plated and has a minigun. It's too complex. It has ruined new players getting into the game. Obviously, everybody's heard of GTA 5, but it ruins the want to get back into it. The only people that play GTA 5 now anymore are people that role-play the game and people that sweat the living hell out of it. That the second the DLC comes out, they grind the out of it so they can get the new... If for somebody that wants to casually play GTA 5, that experience has been genuinely ruined. I think that GTA 6 will be fine. I think they'll fix those problems. I am still a Rockstar fan, and I think they'll go, fix those problems. GTA 5 is still one of my favorite games ever made, but it is too hard to get the things that are new. It's not just getting money. You have to own something to own something to own something to be able to buy the thing that you want. I know they do that so you can't pay to win and you can't win the game. But it's like, for new players, it's like climbing fucking Mount Fuji, dude. It's like, hey, you have to go up Mount Everest and we're gonna give you fucking slippers. Figure it out.
Inflation has ruined GTA. And start back in 2013 when the $1 million was the most expensive item in the entire game. If you were driving one of these, you were extremely rich. And I know,
Like the old, y'all remember the old Vsauce videos where it's like if you had a minigun, a rocket launcher, and an axe, that was like you grinded the fuck out of it. That took forever to get. You are level like 80 now, and you're maxed out.
you're probably thinking, like, oh, this is how
Yeah, when a Zen Porno was the shit. Also, I love the trend on TikTok right now called the last drive, where people are going to do one more drive around Los Santos, or not Los Santos, but just the whole GTA map in general. The last drive GTA. I gotta find, yeah, this right there. Oh my god, look at that though. That's corny as hell. Yo, you can either live your life and say everything's corny as hell, and then look back at it and regret the fact that you didn't do the GTA 5 last drive, or you could hop in a OG GTA 5 car. You could put on an OG radio sound, right? Listen to some ADHD by Kendrick Lamar and whip it around the fucking whole GTA now. Okay, as a final send-off for the game, and then load up GTA 6. I saw somebody say it was actually cool for player experience, and it's like corny as shit, I will agree. They said do the last drive, end at the airport, get in a plane, and fly off into the abyss, shut down the game, and then load up GTA 6 as if you flew from LA to Miami. Well, that's like a great idea.
you have to realize this was in 2013, before Hail Perico, before the Diamond Casino replay glitch, and really before all the money glitches YouTube is what.
Dude, Heist was fire. I think it was after Heist that the game started taking like a decline in too many ways to make money. There were too many DLCs.
Back then, the best ways to make money were waiting till jobs were double money in RP and then just grind
And just do, I remember being like 13, just sitting there playing, what's that one helicopter mission? Over and over and over for hours. I would do the same mission, and I was mind-numbingly boring. But the reward was amazing. Being able to fucking get that shit after.
finding them for as long as possible. I mean, people used to dedicate a whole YouTube video to finding them. You can even find people.
Wow, dude, a whole YouTube video on an adder. Now that would be some cringe shit. You do a GTA video being like customizing my new adder.
Say back in the day, if you had an
Who gives them? Dude, there's like cars that are $12 million in the game now.
high-end apartment, decent weapons, and some money, you were the king. And GTA just isn't like that anymore. Over the past 11,
Well, it makes sense that it's not like that anymore because they have to release new shit to make the game fun, but it also has to be applicable to where new players aren't just turned off from the game. I love GTA, and part of it, and this is a rant that I hope they fucking fix. You can't transfer your account from console to PC, and I don't play console. I want to play GTA 5 on my PC, but if I play GTA 5 on my PC, I have to be level 0. And at that point in my life, I can play the game, because then the hundreds of hours in GTA 5 is worth it. Same thing, just any account transfer. From, even if you're going Xbox to PS5, you can't do it. In years, Rockstar has released over 40 DLC. You can do it from Xbox One to Xbox Series X. You can console transfer from console to console if it's the same generation, but outside that, you can't.
He's only adding more expenses and more.
And that's what I'm saying too, is like, if GTA 6, I've heard that GTA 6 isn't going to come on PC initially, and so that means I'm going to play it on my PS5. And then when GTA drops on PC, I'll run it on PC, but if they don't let me transfer my account from my PlayStation, then I'm just stuck playing PlayStation GTA because I don't want to reset.
Cars to the point where
You're to buy an account, that's cringy. Me saying that as I'm definitely buying an $8 million shark card the second I load into GTA 6 online.
player, these prices aren't even possible to get. Just for a second, pretend you're a level 1 in 2024 and you just load into the world of GTA and have absolutely nothing. So you open your phone to check what you want your first car to be and you see this for $1.6 million, or this for $1.5 million, or this for $1.8 million. I mean, all of these are more expensive than the adder and they're all a lot worse. And I just feel like when a new player sees this and realizes cars like this they won't be able to buy for months, they're going to keep playing to see how long it takes to buy a $5 million car, which is actually very cool.
And a lot of those cars that are $5 million going up, what I'm saying, you can't even buy them unless you own specific facilities and outlets.
I mean, that's the point of why is there $5 million? Recently, this is one of the new.
I have not seen that shit. I didn't even know this. I stopped playing after they made that ramp car after that. I remember doing the vehicle shit where you would like steal cars and then sell them for like 100K each, and it was a great way to make money, and then I quit.
These cars in GTA, and it's $4 million, and it's like,
That was like 8 years ago. Yeah, that puts it in fucking perspective. dude, that's fine. Last time I played GTA, I was probably a senior in high school.
Cool, or I'll give it,
So that would have been 2020. That would have been 5 years.
but that the GTA ended it, but it's the Gauntlet Hellfire with the livery and the light on it. And the Gauntlet Hellfire stuff is $25,000. If you don't agree with other cars being overpriced, I don't think anyone can argue that this thing is worth over $5 million. I mean, just go on with it. Gauntlet Interceptor, because every comment is just,
Who the fuck made this shit $5 million?
and I think it's flexible. GTA 5's at a point now where there's some people that just have so much money and they want to keep those people on the game, so they're just going to release shit that is just absurdly expensive for the sole purpose of being absurdly expensive. Like Rip in a video game.
they couldn't agree more.
Like you own it now.
Even the other cop cars are pretty overpriced, but I don't want to get into that right now. Instead, I want to go over to weapons for a second, because while most of them are fairly priced, I don't really have a problem with them. There's one that's insane. We all know the taser, right? It's actually a pretty fun weapon to use. But if you go into a gun shop and try to look for it,
Yo, y'all remember when people were trying to say that GTA 5 like made people school shooters and shit? Like Fortnite was like causing like terrorism and shit. Oh my god, that was crazy. That was like 2018 when people were trying to like say that video games were the Call of Duty and GTA were the reason that people were killing people. I'm like, dude, you're actually wild.
or you'll probably notice that it's nowhere to be found. That's because the only way to get a taser is to actually buy it from your agency for just a small fee of $252,000 for a taser. Like, I think the only weapons that are more expensive are the Muffin Atomizer, the Unholy Hellbringer, and the Widowmaker, which, yeah, that means the taser is one of the most expensive weapons in GTA Online. But in stores,
Also, they can't relate it to real money because then everything gets all fucked up in progression levels. So they have to make a grenade launcher $700 or some shit, like a laser gun, 10 million, or like it's just random funny money, right? GTA is supposed to be like real life, but at the end of the day, you end up just moving. At all lives, it makes sense. An amount of money, there's like an economy, but at the end of the day, they just have to start making things weirdly expensive compared to what they would be in real life, so it can be something that you progress to.
free mode, if I go into an ammunition store, the taser is $100, so please Rockstar, is it $100 or $352,000? Make it make sense. And so far, if you haven't came to the conclusion that the economy in GTA is messed up, let me take you to a clothing store. This place is super weird. Like, some things make sense, like a couple bucks for a shirt, that's a pretty cheap price. But then we have other things, like a jacket for $50,000, some other random black jacket for $40,000, a literal straight jacket for $38,000, but most of
But that makes sense, because like some missions you do now, you're getting 30k. So if they make everything cheap as shit, you progress through the game faster, and then you stop playing faster. And part of Rockstar's gaming and money-making process is keeping you on the game for long periods of time. That's what gaming wants to do. The more time is money. The more time you have on the game, the more money they're going to make.
$38,000, but most important,
If they let you get everything quickly, then it's pointless. Wow, I forgot about this trend. The fucking alien suit shit.
only a couple
That was years ago.
colored alien suit for $330,000.
Buying clothes isn't game progression. It's not game progression in terms of what you're doing, but it's a free... GTA isn't game progression, right? You're not going... It's not the story mode. When you play GTA Online, it is literally free roam, whatever the you want to do, whatever you want to buy. And part of that is making things grindable so you can get to that point. Yes, clothes isn't story progression or game progression in the sense of something like a car or a weapon would be, but it is in the sense of something that you want to obtain. And if you're able to obtain it easier, then you'll stop playing quicker.
I actually even found these alien suits on Amazon for $12, so I could either buy a $10 shark card and run around as an alien, or just spend $12 and run around as an alien in real life. And I'm sure there's a bunch more clothing that's stupidly overpriced that y'all can let me know in the comments, because I want to move.
Do you think they'll change that up for GTA 6? There's going to be shit in GTA 6 that's like $30 million. But that's what's so weird too, is there's some things that are overpriced, and then there's things that are underpriced. Like they have private jets that are like $4 million, $5 million on GTA. Private jet costs like way more than that.
On to the $10 million plane. And if this
That's cheaper than real life.
isn't the definition of inflation, I don't know what.
There's going to be more ways to earn money, though. Yeah, but I hope they don't make it too complex. I hope GTA 6 is like, they lay it out well, and you can make money in this way, this way, this way, this way, but it's not something that's like a string of complex jobs that are attributed to each other that you have to accomplish to be able to obtain something. I hope it's just like a website where there's a bunch of cars that you can buy, and it's like, hey, here's 5 ways you can make money.
When you go to look at planes, you'll notice
It's going to be cross-platform, cross-platform. If it isn't, that's a terrible decision on Rockstar's. GTA 5, I think GTA 6 should be released on PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC at once, and you should be able to play with anybody on all three platforms. If they don't do that, that's stupid. They would make way more money if they did. And I know they're probably not going to release on PC off-rip, and I don't know if it's going to be cross-plat, but if it isn't, that is horribly dumb. $1 million. There's hackers, Joe? Yeah, but still. Like, the amount of money they would make from a business perspective is so much more if they have cross-platform. And I also don't think, I'm pretty sure GTA 5 didn't have online off-rip, right? It'll probably, I do not want to play with PC players. You have aim lock. Why don't you want to play with PC players? You have aim lock in GTA. When you play GTA, you don't have to be good at aiming. You literally hit left trigger and it goes, and it just locks onto the person. We don't have aim lock. PC players don't. Console players do.
$10 million golden version of it. The normal Luxor has better handling and acceleration, while the expensive one has better brakes and it's solid gold.
Those hackers, Joe? Bro, but what does crossplay have to do with that?
So the only difference is for an $8.5 million price difference.
Oh, you're saying PC hackers? And if I did, I live. You can't have on console. That can't be true. There has to be a way to be able to have it.
I literally remember grinding casino ice for a couple days with my friend. Then at the exact same time, we both bought a Luxor Deluxe. We brought both of our planes to the airport, parked the cars in front of them, and then I took this insanely hard picture, like 4 years ago. But the point is, I do see why Rockstar makes things expensive, because people buy it. I mean, they could literally take the worst car ever and use it for $19 million, and I know all of you are going to grind for it. Like, same thing goes for the yacht. None of you actually want it, yet somehow we all have it, and this is why I feel like prices are just gonna...
I never got a yacht in GTA. I thought it was a waste of money. It was actually a piece of shit. I remember looking at the yacht being like, should I grind for this? And I was like, wow.
They keep going up.
$12 million you're never going to use it.
And not just up on
You'd be on the mainland all the time.
things. There's so many cars that have increased in price throughout the years, and just to name a few, we got the Scramjet that went from $3.8 million to $4.5 million, the Deluxo from $4.7 million to $5.7 million, and definitely most notably the Oppressor Mark II from
This ruined the game. This ruined the game. This ruined the game. This is the car that ruined GTA 5. Oh my god, a flying motorcycle with tracking fucking missiles? Are you kidding? Everybody had one of these.
From $3.8 million to $8 million, which is insane. And there's plenty of more vehicles that got hit with them.
And it stole load every other type of fucking vehicle, dude. I remember I had jets set with like tracking missiles and shit. I would buy all those because I thought they were badass. Did nothing.
But we don't want to be here all day. So let's recap real quick.
Hello, Ulysses. Dark.
This episode is presented to you in the form of this video is sponsored by God.
Book review. Doki. Hello, everybody. I'm back. You forgot? No, I didn't. I just been not with my home. Sumimasen. I am sorry. When I was in Japan last month, I didn't really have much chance to read. I knew my time there was limited, so I really just wanted to focus on being in Japan. There's been a lot of news articles about book club. I don't know if you read them, but some of them are great. Just praising the idea that obviously getting more people into reading. A British bookstore, very, very big British bookstore. They had a select table of books, and they were all books that I had reviewed. And it made me think, wow, it definitely had an influence on sales if they feature these books in a specific way. It's not like they said PewDiePie aisle or anything like that, but it's cool. Should I force anything else positive into this before I begin? I don't think we need to do that. Thank you. Now, first book I read was The Dice Man, written by Luke Reinhardt. This was suggested by Brad. Hooray for Brad! Thank you, Brad, for suggesting. A lot of you guys suggested this book as well, and I can definitely see why. I think Brad told me that he read it when he was younger, and I think it's the kind of book I would probably appreciate if I was younger as well. Not saying that it's stupid or anything like that, it's just it has a lot of flaws that I thought was a bit hard to oversee. That's how they say it. Doesn't matter. The book is written by Luke Reinhardt, who is also, conveniently, the protagonist. How strange. It follows the story of Luke, who
He's a psychiatrist. He's very successful. He earns a lot of money. He has a wife. He has kids. But he just doesn't feel happy where he is in life. His best friend is advancing before him, even though he's not as clever as he is. He just feels stuck in a rut, basically. So in a drunken idea, late at night, he decides that he's going to roll a dice, and if it lands on a 6, I think it was a 6, it doesn't matter, he is going to rape his best friend's wife, who has been sort of flirting with him a little bit. And here it sort of shows how amateurish the writer is, or maybe he just needs a better editor, I don't know. There's really no reason for him to want to rape his best friend's wife. I understand that he needs to undergo this drastic change of character, but they justify it as, oh, well, she liked it more than I did. I feel weird even talking about it. It's not like I'm prude or anything like that. But, nevertheless, this event has such a drastic change of his character that he becomes the dice man, and he decides to live his life by the roll of the dice. He will write down a couple things that he wants to do and a couple things that he doesn't want to do, and he plays them on the number of the dice. So if it rolls a 1 or a 2, he'll do this. 3 or a 4, he'll do this. 5 or 6, he'll do this. So that determines it. And it's interesting in a way how that makes him break free from his run, essentially. His character that's just too comfortable. A lot of times it's obvious what you want to do. And you always go for the obvious choice. And he explains that the dice is... there's so many things that you miss out on by not doing, and that never gets to live because you always go with the obvious choice. And by constantly going with the obvious choice, you end up comfortable in the way that Luke was in the beginning. Now, Luke really decides that he's going to push this for scientific purposes or for his studies. He's going to push the limit of the dice, following the dice as a godly figure to its very limits. It's not like the whole idea of flipping a coin is anything new. It's not like there's anything that special about it, but it becomes a cult. He becomes a cult leader of the dice. It's an interesting concept of self-control, also letting go of that control to something else. And while reading it, I was feeling like I want to try this out. And when I was in Japan, for example, me and Mark say a lot of times the things that we enjoyed the most were not the things we had planned for, but the things that we just happened to stumble upon, which I think is what it's trying to get. The book very confidently says on the cover, this book will change your life. It will. I really enjoyed it in the first half, but the second half was just unnecessary. I think it tried too hard to de-commercialize. The story takes almost like a movie-like plot. The FBI is after, and there's just so many sex scenes in this book. I think there's like 30 sex scenes in it. This just became cringe-worthy after a while. Like, this is just ridiculous. At the end of it, it sort of made me question the skill of the author, and if the concept of the dice was even that great to begin with. It just seems like some sort of pseudo-psychiatry, and who knows? Maybe that's what it was trying to mock anyway. Next, I read Stoner by John Williams. This was a book that when it came out, it barely sold anything, but then later, 50 years later, it got translated, and it picked up in popularity. Now it's very highly regarded. When I explain my favorite novel to people, or at least a novel that I really enjoyed, a lot of times I'm met with a skeptic look like, that doesn't sound interesting at all. What are you talking about? A good testimony of a good writer is that if you can tell a seemingly uninteresting story and captivate your reader, that's a great way to test it. And I think Stoner is exactly that. Now, I was reading this, and I kept thinking, when is the punchline coming? When is the weed joke coming? I was on page 420, and I realized I've just spent hours reading a boring book about a boring man's life. It has nothing to do with me. Not a single weed reference. I'm just kidding, obviously. It's actually a really great book. I really enjoyed reading it. It follows the story of William Stoner, which can be summarized as life sucks and then you die. So fuck the world and let's get high. 420, everybody. So cringe-worthy jokes. Sorry. William Stoner grows up on a farm. He goes to study agriculture, and a part of his study it's obligatory to study English literature, and he completely falls in love with it. He loves it, and he switches his studies completely to literature instead of agriculture. And at the day of his graduation, he very selfishly tells his parents, "I'm not coming back to help at the farm. I'm going to keep studying to become a teacher." I can't relate to that at all. I escaped to Italy to become a YouTuber and abandoned my studies. So maybe I can't fault Stoner too much in this. It sets the swing of the story of Stoner's life. Whenever something positive happens to Stoner, it's met with something negative. He falls in love with literature, but at the cost of disappointing his parents. He falls in love with a woman, and they get married very quickly, but then he discovers that she's actually very horrible to him, and they don't match at all. So anytime something positive happens to Stoner, it's met with something negative. He loves teaching his students at school, but it becomes very hard for him to do so because of the department. He gets a daughter that he loves very much and cares for, but the daughter, after a while, sort of turns against him because of his wife. It just keeps on rocking back and forth for Stoner, and you just have to, when reading it, you can't appreciate his immense stoicism and how much he endures of bad behavior among people. It just brings him down. You just want to pat Stoner on the back and say, "It's okay, you did your best." I always try and fight for some sort of ideas in there. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but the way I saw it is that there's two sides of the coin. You're going to be happy sometimes, and you're going to be unhappy sometimes. And you can just hope that you end up on one side more than the other. Just because you endure a lot of pain, a lot of bad behavior, just because you're a good person and work really hard for the things you love, that doesn't necessarily mean happiness is some sort of reward or something that's owed to you. It just doesn't work like that. That's just the state of life. That's the balance that we all do. Stoner does it in such grace, and the way he endures it all, you can't help but look up to him and his character. In a lot of ways, he's a hero, and I think that's how the author described him, as an angel. It was a fantastic read. I really enjoyed it. From start to finish, I think this was the novel that I found the easiest to read and flow through. So if it sounded interesting, give it a go. Next up, we have Crime and Punishment. It's a classic. You've definitely heard about this. Have you heard about this? It was written by Fyodor Dostoevsky in 1866. It was the longest one I read, and I mean that. Sometimes this book was very hard to get through, but the parts that shines in this novel truly shines. I do understand why it's a classic. And I want to just focus on the bits that I really, really enjoyed, which is the bits revolving around the main character, Raskolnikov. Raskolnikov is a young man who lives in St. Petersburg. He is, like I said, young, attractive, intelligent, and since his father died, his mother and sister had focused on him a lot more, which led him to come up with the insane idea that he is going to murder and rob an elderly pawnbroker named Ivanovna. He sees Ivanovna as a lesser human, a bad human, and she has the only thing that Raskolnikov doesn't have, which is wealth. Raskolnikov is very poor, and he sees it almost as an injustice. Following Raskolnikov's ideas around why he wants to commit this murder is the bit where I really, really enjoyed. I don't know what it is about following someone's internal thoughts about something that's just bizarre and insane. The truest, honest thoughts about something. And I think that's why I really like Japanese literature as well. Nevertheless, Raskolnikov doesn't see anything wrong with murdering this woman. I think it's justified, and he almost sees it as a practice of, can he commit this crime? Is he able to commit the perfect crime even? And he sort of sneers at other people that he hasn't been able to commit the perfect crime. So he sneaks into Ivanovna's apartment and he murders her with an axe. Unfortunately, Ivanovna's stepsister enters the scene of the crime, and Raskolnikov is forced to murder her as well. Now, obviously, this wasn't part of the plan, and he sort of very clumsily escapes the murder scene, and he only gets a little bit of gold in the apartment, but still, somehow, he managed to escape without anyone seeing him commit the crime. He hides all the gold and the murder weapon, and then we're followed with the second part of the book, the punishment. We get to follow Raskolnikov's internal struggle through conversation with other people of why he committed this crime and what made him want to actually do it. If he didn't take the gold, what was the true reason behind it? And the guilt with it. The bits that I especially enjoyed was the last third of the book. Raskolnikov wants to confess to his love, Sonia, that he committed this murder. And he stumbled upon his words, and he stumbles upon his reasoning that before was so clear to himself, but when explaining it to someone else, he just can't get the right reason and words out. And I really enjoyed this bit. I don't know, it's so interesting following these thoughts and the change of Raskolnikov. Eventually, he turns himself in, despite the fact that there was no real evidence against him. I think he was just so tired of dealing with this internal struggle and conflict. And even though he doesn't necessarily think that what he did was wrong, he compares his murder with what other people have done in the past and not received any punishment for. People doing even worse things than him and getting away with it. So why should he have to do that? But he turns himself in because of Sonia, who he loves. He wants to serve his punishment. And I think the epilogue of the is a bit worse. These classic novels, they always have a very strict conclusion to them, at least what I read so far. So maybe that's why. The reason why Raskolnikov struggled so much, maybe he had found logic behind what he did, but he put himself above society. And that was his demise. What do you think? Have you read it? What do you think? Personally, I was extremely bored with the family conflict that was going on throughout this book. It didn't interest me at all, but nevertheless, I really enjoyed it. I would love to read more from Dostoevsky in the future. I'm told that The Idiot is even better. Are you still with Next Up We Have No Longer Human with Osamu Dazai? I feel my voice is just different talking about this. It's just such a sad story. It follows the story of Oba, and we follow it through notebooks that he has left behind. I love Japanese literature. I really enjoy Murakami, and I love reading
Yeah, I vote for Trump.
So this young fella here goes by the name of Clavicular. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's all into looks maxing. He's got quite popular for it. If you don't know what that is, that's basically just maxing your potential looks-wise. So he's helping younger guys. Fresh and good podcast with stuff.
Okay, but you're not like a man.
So, is that most gracious? I am Doth. I cometh from an age long so. With my home, would this be a visit?
She's only saying
My heart felt, and I shout. Thou art in me, it seems that my time is done.
Testosterone not naturally.
No, I'm replacing with
exactly
exogenous,
naturally produce it.
but it is bioidentical.
But you don't naturally produce it. So that's a
I don't
man.
understand the argument.
Man. I have a question.
But it is a bioidentical hormone that's just
But you're not like a man because you're not producing it yourself.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but that's unfortunately just not very.
We're also very sorry.
That's one of the ways that women like to piss men off is by attacking our masculinity. I'm not sure what issues he's got and why he's on testosterone. It might be something to do with his health or whatever, but he didn't bite, so well done to him. Which, by the way, I just want to emphasize that this is a horrible sample size for Miami students. So this is not like, what Irish people should be looking at being, this is how women operate. To a degree, it is, but this is exacerbated to the highest level by the city, by its energy, by the choices. It's kind of bugs. That's not to say that we can't learn from this. So, we take a look at what they're saying. They're talking about personality, they're talking about taking care of them when they're on their period. And we look at the choices that they're making, the guys that they're hooking up with, and there's a huge separation in kind of what's going on here. So we're often seeing, not good guys, these amazing personality, really funny people, running through these girls. It's often tall, good-looking people, who have a lot of money. Let's add that point of nuance there, because money is important. I'd be ridiculous to deny that. But at the end of the day, the first thing that you see, the first thing that you notice, you lay your eyes upon someone, is going to be how good-looking they are, right? And that's going to allow you, do I give this person a chance? Even get the other things out there, right? So your personality, their personality is going to be perceived a lot higher if they're good looking. Someone who's not good looking might have the greatest personality, you might like them and be soulmates with them, but you will never even get the opportunity to try that out because they're so bad looking, right? So I'm telling you, this
You're so wrong. I dated the ugliest dude ever for 5 years and I loved the hell out of him.
Performative bullshit. It's all
I love him.
He's probably at her level. She just thinks she's better than she is. And what he's saying about the looks to an extent is true. It does get your foot in the door. But when you meet someone with a brain, if you don't have one and you just look good, or you're a complete dickhead, it's probably not going to go too far.
You love him.
It's performative. It's performative. And that's not to say that even if that was true, which it isn't, this is what we're talking about across a society, right? If you look at abroad, not one specific anecdote of a crazed, or which is what you quite clearly are. So, what do you say?
Do you have a question?
Yeah, absolutely. Can we look at
Me.
Yeah, go for it.
Are you straight?
Yes. Are you a biological woman?
I pushed the kid out. Yeah, I actually curious. Like what?
Well, her Norwood line, her hairline, I would say her bimaxillary.
You know more about aesthetics than a bitch.
Women's really that smart. So I ain't gonna lie, it's funny the way he's using the visual words to basically call her ugly and say that she looks like a man. And this is another tactic that women like to use, right? They like to call a man gay and take him down, but this guy's just not reacting. He's got the same sort of facial expression, the same tone of voice. They're not annoying him.
We should play a game, right? We should play a fun game with, the audience of top 4 good girls. Okay. Let's play a game called Look Maxing. 101 with girls.
So, have an idea. Let's just skip past fresh.
Honestly, when he first swapped on, I was gonna probably rate him around like an 8.
Without knowing anything, I would say like an 8.
Like a 6 or a 7.
What?
Like a 7.5.
7? I
Yeah.
think I'll give you a 9.
Your turn.
3.5 out of 10.
I'm
going to give you a 4 out of 10.
She got 3.5. Why?
Her mid face is way too long. Obviously, she's got the jowls coming in, horrible nasolabial folds. Horrible total facial width to height ratio. Just really bad age indicators. Her upper maxilla is super recessed, horrible infraorbitals. That's why your under eyes are coming in like hell. Really recessed chin. All the facial convexities are wrong. Her radix is recessed. Moving on, we can break it down if you want.
Please do.
So her alar base, the width of her nose is incredibly large. The nasal bridge is incredibly wide. Obviously you've got bimax version. So your light is all off.
Do you believe in eugenics? Yeah, you do.
That's a loaded question. That's a complex one. Yeah.
He's racist, yeah.
No.
He's saying he believes in eugenics, so...
You said that.
If it was a no, it would have been a no.
It's a complex question, lady. So for you to think everything falls into a binary yes or no, just moving on. Okay, shut the fuck up. But anyway.
What's the number?
I would arguably say like 1.5 or 2. I would say probably a 5. But maybe in terms of the body fat, that could come down a little bit. 5 out of 10 is average. I'd say you could be above average if you lost a little bit of body fat percentage. So
Actually, just gained 10 pounds, so I agree with
yeah, dead average 5. She's 4.5 over here. Her orbital bones, the bones surrounding her eyes, her super orbitals are suboptimal. She really doesn't have any eyebrows. Obviously, her nose is much too bulbous. Once you chiseled out a little bit more, got more angularity, I'd say you could definitely push over a 6 for sure.
Appreciate you.
And over there, I would say that you probably have the best looks on the panel. It's not really a tough,
Not shocking.
not a tough crowd to compete against, really. So,
But you said your guy had a lot of money, right? So he was able
Not
to.
a lot, but he took me to dinners and
so he was
trips
able
and
to.
stuff, but
Anytime I've seen a woman be with a guy that is less attractive, he's either has status or money. 100%.
but the whole first time we hung out, paid for everything.
Wait, what?
Someone just give this girl a reality check. She said she was with an ugly guy and she's talking as if she's up there. She was at the same level.
even if that were true, which it probably isn't, your specific anecdote isn't going to disagree and contradict an entire society of women's choices.
And I would say this to add to what you're saying. I think the only reason you paid in the beginning is because you saw potential.
No.
So what I've realized about women is also you guys are kind of like scouts, right? Like if you see a guy and you're like, okay, he's on his way up, there's potential here, you'll with him too.
He said the right thing at the right time.
Why are they even believing what this woman's saying? She's obviously just saying things to purposely contradict what he's saying. And like I said, if she was with an uglier guy and she was paying for everything, it wouldn't surprise me anyway. Because she's not up here.
He actually complimented a Gucci belt that I got that day.
Awful taste.
Thank you. It's actually not like a regular Gucci belt. It's a tiger with ruby red eyes. So,
Oh shit!
I f- with it heavy, but regular.
You thought he was rich though.
No.
Yeah, no, because
I didn't. I thought he admired my taste, and I with that.
It was unique.
No.
It was a belt. He had taste.
It was, but
You thought he had
his
money.
taste. No, I didn't actually.
So
think that he had
potential.
money.
Now you capping, man.
No.
Let's just say you're capping.
No.
Yeah, you are
I'd like to
capping.
say I'll, but they don't say it.
That escalated quick.
That's why I recommend that no one live in Miami, because to be surrounded by this really changes you as a person. Thank God I don't live within the city.
Makes a good point. I bet if you saw a before and after of some of these women, they look completely different before they lived in Miami. The place you live starts having an effect on you.
I can't stop thinking about the fact that I have 10 years on you.
Okay.
I have 10 on him too, and he's stupid as hell.
Oh shit, are you stupid? Wait, who did?
Hey, CC.
They know how old I am?
Please, yeah, you're 19 and you're dumb as hell.
Okay, alright,
That's it.
Are you gonna rebut anything he said, though? I mean, do you know?
I mean, yeah.
When someone says something that's not true, it can't offend you. That's why he's so unbothered. He knows he's twice as smart as these donuts. It's not hard. All you need is an average IQ, but he's not a dumb guy. You can hear it the way he speaks and articulates himself.
So, talking about women are whores, we have the same sex drive as you. Like, what
No,
are you...
you're. I don't know if I.
You didn't say I'm a
I said
women are whores.
these women are. You're. I didn't make the broad
When did
claim.
we... You just...
Women often.
How many women do you actually attract? You just said
Quite a
that.
few.
You just labeled me out.
Actually,
You are, but you know
That's right.
that doesn't mean I'm
It's
not
hard. So, you know...
It's because I'm not like the average
We
guy
are
who's
who we
willing
are.
with your
You wear
bullshit.
makeup, babe. Both wear
annoying.
makeup. We're the same. We're the same. Like,
It's funny to me because she's been trying to rage bait him the whole time, and he says one thing and she gets pissed off straight away. He's beating her in her own game.
I'm very objective, but so that's why I make that decision.
I'm also objective.
Okay, good for you, I guess.